President Trump today making it very clear once again the buck stops there. This time the president refusing to acknowledge that his White House had caused an international dust-up with our nation's closest and most important ally, the United Kingdom. This all happened because his spokesman, in an apparently desperate attempt to justify his boss's false claim that President Obama had tapped his phones at Trump Tower, cited a sketchy report by a conservative pundit, one making a very serious accusation against the most important U.S. ally. And President Trump's response? Hey, they're the ones who said it.
That was a statement made by a very talented lawyer on Fox. And so you shouldn't be talking to me, you should be talking to Fox.
President Trump did this while doubling down on his wiretapping falsehood, which is now disputed by the FBI director, speaking through aides, and on the record by the former director of national intelligence, by the Republican Speaker of the House, and by the Republican and Democratic heads of the House and Senate intelligence committees. This is a claim that Vice President Pence has even refused to say is true. And yet, this afternoon, appearing alongside German Chancellor Angela Merkel, whom the NSA did spy upon for years, according to WikiLeaks, President Trump said this.
As far as wiretapping, I guess, by this past administration, at least we have something in common, perhaps.
A spurious claim made in response to a question about a different spurious claim. This one made by White House Press Secretary Sean Spicer, who, in an attempt to defend President Trump on this evidence-free wiretapping claim, invoked various sources of information to try to build something resembling a case for his boss, one that made up for what it lacked in actual proof in length. Spicer invoked stories having nothing to do with the president's charge, websites you've never heard of, but most significantly, he said this.
Last on Fox News on March 14th, Judge Andrew Napolitano made the following statement, quote, 3 intelligence sources have informed Fox News that President Obama went outside the chain of command. He didn't use the NSA, he didn't use the CIA, he didn't use the FBI, and he didn't use the Department of Justice. He used GCHQ.
GCHQ, the Government Communications Headquarters. That's the British equivalent of the NSA. President Obama, of course, did not have the power to use the British intelligence to spy on anyone, and such would have been a violation of the intelligence agreement between the U.S. and the U.K. Now, you're going to have to ask the actual journalists at Fox News Channel why they never repeated this claim from Judge Napolitano. Actually, you know what? Spoiler alert. You don't have to ask. I'll tell you. It's because they have no confidence that it's true. The GCHQ, which rarely comments on such matters, took the unusual step of saying that the Napolitano-Spicer charge is, quote, utterly ridiculous and should be ignored. The British National Security Advisor, Sir Mark Lyle Grant, and the UK ambassador to the US after the Spicer charge was made, contacted the US National Security Advisor, General H.R. McMaster, as well as Spicer, after which the spokesman for the British Prime Minister said the White House had reassured the UK that Spicer would not repeat the allegations. The president's response to this embarrassment today? Take a listen.
We said nothing. All we did was quote a certain very talented legal mind who was the one responsible for saying that on television. I didn't make an opinion on it.
The White House apparently unaware that when the White House in the world's most powerful nation cites a news story as proof of what the President of the United States has said, that tends to suggest to people that you think you believe the story you're citing as proof. Now, 2 weeks ago tomorrow, President Trump made a wild claim on Twitter. There's no evidence, nor is there any credible source who knows anything about intelligence who believes the charge that President Obama tapped Donald Trump's phones at Trump Tower. But now, in a fevered effort to try to force this outlandish claim into something remotely resembling passably, perhaps, maybe the truth, the White House appears actually willing to repeat another wild accusation that potentially could alienate our nation's most important ally. Does smearing British intelligence make your family more safe? No. So why is the White House doing it? What is the White House defending here? Because it damn sure isn't national security or American credibility before the world.